Let's turn now to someone from Michigan, Republican Congressman John James. He's an Iraq War veteran and serves on the House Subcommittee on Commerce, Manufacturing, and Trade. Congressman, good to see you as always. While President Trump was in your home state insisting that the economy is doing great, the Michigan Democratic Party is citing a poll of Michiganders who were asked to grade Trump's handling of the economy, and the Democrats said twice as many respondents gave President Trump an F as gave him an A in that poll, I think from the Detroit News. What's your response?
Well, Michigan Democrat Party and Democrats around the country wouldn't give the president credit if he cured cancer from behind the Resolute desk in the Oval Office. The fact of the matter is people of Michigan remember Bidenflation that caused $1,000 per month increase in prices for Michigan families. But we also recognize the great effort that the Republican House and Senate and President Trump signing the One Big Beautiful Bill into law helps offset the cost of buying a new car. Car loans are now tax deductible. I'm also personally working on things to increase the affordability of housing and increase transparency in healthcare so that the people have the choice. The people recognize what's happening, and we don't measure the success of the economy by the stock market. We measure it at the grocery store. The cost of eggs are coming down. Affordability is a real concern, and that is what we're all focused on.
Well, as you say, affordability continues to be a real concern, and polls indicate that most Americans, hold President Trump, not President Biden, responsible. In addition to the measures you just outlined, what else do you think President Trump should be doing? Do you have concerns about the tariffs?
Well, when you look at what President Trump has already done by negotiating tough deals, he's brought trillions of dollars back in investment from manufacturing. Specifically, you have Stellantis is going to be investing $250 million in Michigan. General Motors, over the next couple of years, $2 billion in Orion plant. That's hundreds of jobs in the state of Michigan. Corning in mid-Michigan, $1.5 billion investing in additional jobs. These are things that would not have happened if President Trump didn't take a leadership effort. And this is a state that was hit hardest among all the states with NAFTA. 300,000 jobs, automotive jobs, lost in Michigan since 1995. And the president in his first term negotiating USMCA, which is a better term, and then also continuing to push to make sure that Americans aren't behind. Look, we are absolutely not going to move forward in the future while discarding people who worked so hard to build this country. Michigan is not afraid of the future, but we demand to be a part of it.
So last year, President Trump promised to revive American manufacturing. Data from the Bureau of Labor Statistics shows the manufacturing industry shed 8,000 jobs just last month. That's the 8th straight month of losses for an industry, which I don't need to tell you is critical for the Michigan economy. What can be done there?
Absolutely critical, and we can start by addressing our energy costs. The Green New Deal agenda that Gretchen Whitmer is pushing in the state of Michigan is absolutely ballooning our energy costs. And what does manufacturing need? We need sustainable, economical, reliable energy. And with these Green New Deal agendas and policies, it's increasing the amount that ratepayers, both residential and industrial, are paying, and frankly, we need relief. We need to have an all-of-the-above approach that actually works, that will lower our energy costs, which will continue to incentivize manufacturing jobs. I'm running for governor of the state of Michigan because I believe that we need the tax, tort, and regulatory reform to make Michigan a more attractive state to do business so that we can grow not just jobs, but grow job creators. These are the types of policies that are going to work in the real world, and I'm excited to bring that to the front over the next year.
So let's talk about that, because as you know, you're running as a Republican candidate for governor in Michigan, and yesterday I interviewed one of the Democratic candidates, Sheriff Christopher Swanson. I want you to take a listen to his take on that ICE shooting in Minneapolis.
There was no de-escalation. Went from verbal orders to deadly force in 3 seconds to somebody who was unarmed, turning away at 2 miles an hour with people surrounding the vehicle with whistles. You take the things that are in context at that moment and you make a decision. Was that decision to use deadly force the best decision? I don't think the American people think that, and I certainly don't think that.
What do you think, sir?
Well, as somebody who's actually been shot at in combat, someone who's actually been at a two-way live fire range, I understand what it means to make a split-second life and death decision. And the officer who was standing up enforcing federal law had already been accosted by a vehicle before. He absolutely used proportional force to the threat to his life, and of course this was a tragedy that could have been avoided. But all of the hate and vitriol that's being spewed at our law enforcement officers, if you want to take a look at a terrible fascist regime, you don't have to look any further than the 2,000 Iranians who've been killed protesting for their freedom. These are the things that we're seeing around, but we are enforcing our nation's laws to keep our streets safe, and to make those false equivalencies are wrong and dangerous.
You called it a proportional response. You have no question about any of the ambiguities in the videos?
Of course, when you look at the videos from different angles, but the fact of the matter is someone with boots on the ground had already been accosted by a vehicle, and he has a right to defend himself and the people around him. And so when you have an officer, a vehicle of deadly force, I guarantee you, Jake, that if he had been hurt and killed, we wouldn't be having this conversation right now, and there are many people on the left who would have been celebrating it. I don't think that there's anything here to be happy about, but I think that absolutely in any walk of life, like Chris Rock said a while ago, how not to get your ass kicked by the police. If you are obeying the law and abiding by the laws of this country, you have nothing to fear from law enforcement.
Republican Congressman John James of the great state of Michigan. Thank you, sir. Appreciate your time.
Thank you.
The U.S. Supreme Court heard arguments today.